Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight on our news. The family of a man shot and killed by police demands justice. A look at Ragged Island 9 months after Hurricane Irma. Another illegal landing near the Defense Force base. Plus, a new Miss World Bahamas is crowned.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. Topping news tonight, devastated family members of the 20-year-old man killed by police in Mason's Addition on Sunday say doctors informed them that their loved one was shot 18 times. However, they have yet to hear from police on what led to the young man's death. This as the Member of Parliament for Centreville calls for a full investigation into the country's 8th police-involved shooting death for the year. Fonique Toot reports.
It was with broken hearts that relatives of 20-year-old D'Angelo Evans visited the Rand morgue this morning to positively identify his body. Speaking with reporters at their Mason's Addition home minutes later, relatives are questioning police accounts of yesterday's incident and are now demanding justice.
For taking my grandson, and they put 18 bullets in him. The devil is a liar. More than apology for that.
What do you want from police at this point?
I want vengeance. Life for life, or some penalty, because they do my boy bad.
Sitting on the front porch of the home where she raised D'Angelo Evans, Ethel Roll remembered waking her grandnephew up Sunday morning and sending him to the corner store for paper plates. Several minutes and 18 bullets later, she says she saw D, as he was affectionately known, lying face down on the ground.
D wasn't out this house 10 minutes. I hear blah, 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 blah. I thought it was the electrical pole. Then when my grandson ran out, we should corner someone, tell him, say, that's D, the police shoot. And miss, I tell you the truth from God, when I reach out there and I meet my baby nephew laying down on a wet ground and all that dirt face down and the blood was coming out of his back, to his lower back, I scream and I say, y'all killed my baby. I say, but God, he please.
Family members say doctors informed them that Evans was shot 18 times. After visiting the morgue this morning, his mother just sat here, too distraught to talk, as concerned family members checked her blood pressure. Police claim they were responding to reports of an armed robbery at Burial Ground Corner Sunday morning and shot the 20-year-old after he allegedly pointed a gun at officers off McCullough Corner. However, his cousin and aunt say if Evans was really pointing a gun at police, why was he shot in the back?
A young man who never been in the police custody, never had a record for his 20 years of living on this earth. What one day his mother had to go into the station to clear his name for nothing. And they could kill my cousin like that? That's you know what it is? It's 18 shots. That's a dog. That's a dog. And justice Gubby served.
The Lee family has also taken issue with police reports that a .40 pistol was recovered at the scene. They believe police shot the wrong man, noting Evans did not fit the description of robbery suspects.
If you already search somebody, why push the person off and then turn his back and brutally kill him? Not one gun, you know. Two officers.
They came at the same time and shoot him. They already shot him once, but 17 more times after that.
And then could say he had a Glock 40 with a basketball pants. Come on.
Have you ever known your cousin and your nephew to ever own a gun?
Never in his life. Never.
Evans's family says even the shop owner where the robbery took place claimed it wasn't him.
The person who owned the store said it was not him.
For them to say my cousin robbed, they need to recant their story, change his story because you mess up his name.
Family members say to add insult to injury, they have yet to hear from police on Evans' death. The Prime Minister was seen in Mason's Addition after the shooting, but got back into his vehicle and left as reporters attempted to approach him.
All we asking for is the Prime Minister, please help us. The Commissioner of the Police, please help us. Please just answer.
Give us some answers. Nobody come to us yet. Nobody.
No call, no visit, nothing.
No, as much police cars as pass through Mason's Addition each and every day. Not a police car pass in this area. They even stopped at his house. That's poor.
Now, family members plan to hold a prayer vigil in this very community where Evans was known and loved tomorrow night. Reporting for our news, I'm Vonnie Toot.
Well, 9 months after Hurricane Irma, Ragged Island remains devastated. With very little access to much-needed supplies, residents have been left to fend for themselves. This as we're just days away from what meteorologists say will be an above-average hurricane season. Kyle Joaquin tells us more.
It's like going back 50 years, you know.
Louis Pintard has called Ragged Island home for decades. When we visited the island, Pintard was spending the day cleaning up scraps of wood and other debris from repairs being done on his home. His house has no roof, and there are plastic barrels, pieces of metals, and trash scattered about. But it's the feeling of being neglected by government that's been dominant throughout the island.
Well, as a Bahamian, I feel like we are being neglected. Because the government did this for other countries that was affected by the same storm, but right here now, it's no big money to get Ragged Island back on the go. At least the islanders. But the government really haven't come and do no assistance at all,
That same feeling of abandonment and neglect is familiar to the Wallace family, more so as another hurricane season is set to begin in 4 days.
To see how the government could stay right back, relax, and even come here and even try to help the people.
Well, I know that the team...
It cost me over $10,000 just to get my roof and shelf back. Wow. That's all the money I had. I could afford to go put into them.
Despite being decked out in her F&M campaign paraphernalia, Wallace isn't feeling the government at the moment.
You see them come back here and do anything for us? We ain't done yet. I mean, absolutely nothing. You see anything? I lost all of these in the hurricane. My kitchen, the roof off of this. Just well say my house is the only thing that didn't go.
Throughout the island, you'd see piles of plywood and other building supplies, signs that efforts are being made to rebuild structures on the island. But aside from the cleared streets, you would still find down utility poles and scattered debris, almost as if the storm had just left weeks prior. The government's administrative building is still a mess with the roof caved in. To make matters worse, due to the destruction of the water and sewage facility on the island, residents only receive running water once a week.
Water? Like, come on, there's no excuse for that. None whatsoever.
Pretty tough. It's been tough before the hurricane, and boys, can't even describe it. Just trying to cope with whatever we have to face it.
Forecasters are already predicting this hurricane season to be an active one. Folks like Nino won't take any chances.
Oh no, I'll be the first one out.
Did you stay here last time?
No, I was one of the first on the plane.
Okay.
For Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin. And a fishy situation at police headquarters. Several senior members of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, including Commissioner of Police Anthony Ferguson, were treated in hospital over the weekend for food poisoning. Senior sources on the force tell Our News the top brass had fried fish for lunch on Friday before falling ill. They were reportedly taken to the intensive care unit for treatment and have since been discharged. And on the heels of yet another illegal landing near the Royal Bahamas Defense Force base in Coral Harbor, officials sought to show reporters firsthand the challenges they face in patrolling the country's borders. Jared Higgs reports.
Migrants often have the upper hand, according to Lieutenant Commander Carlin Bethel of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force. The squadron commanding officer says a group of migrants who landed near Venice Bay on Sunday benefited from the shallow waters and narrow channel that define this area. He says it's necessary to compare a wooden sloop, whose only aim is to find shallow water, with a fully equipped Defense Force vessel that would be of little use if it ran aground.
When we're talking about terrain like this, where the water is shallow, where there's several hazards to navigation in the form of these rocks, these keys, and then underwater reefs. For a Defense Force vessel, that's a challenge. So you have to be very careful navigating so as not to damage the vessel or run it aground. for a Haitian vessel, that's beautiful. Why? Because at the end of the day, they're trying to get to the most shallowest area. Once that boat hits the seabed, they're not concerned about damaging the vessel. They're concerned about hitting that seabed, knowing that I'm now in water shallow enough to get out and get to land.
The situation is similar near Marshall Road, where authorities apprehended 25 migrants in February after discovering a wooden sloop in the area. The shallow waters are a proverbial finish line for the operators of these wooden sloops.
The Marshall Road ramp area is an area where the water gets extremely shallow, right? And because the water gets extremely shallow from such a far ways out, you could actually run a sailboat aground earlier and then walk even a further distance. So that means it eliminates some grounds for me to chase you, because now you've got shallow water so far out. So it's one of the areas that you'd find is popular. We usually patrol this area on a regular basis because of the nature of it. But then again, it's still a dangerous area, or we'd say a challenge area to navigate.
The moral of the story is capturing migrants on board vessels is easier said than done. Wooden vessels, often carrying hundreds of different people, are often difficult, if not impossible, to pick up on radar, while coral reefs, which are important and essential to the environment, make it more difficult for Defense Force sea crafts to navigate. Sub-Lieutenant Themo Berkeley is a commanding officer of patrol vessel P-45. He knows these struggles all too well.
You can't see in the night. You have to focus on a lot of stuff, other craft moving back and forth. And Haitian boats don't run with lights. They have no roads. Just how they operate in the land, on land in Nassau, build houses anywhere, shanty towns or whatever, they have no roads. Same thing out here out to sea. No roads, no lights, no safety to maritime. So we have to be on the lookout for them all the time.
So it's a real challenge.
It's a real challenge.
Heightened attention was placed on the Bahamas' migrant crisis when Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis announced last year that people without documents permitting them to live in the Bahamas would have until the end of 2017 to leave the country. That warning hasn't appeared to deter the flow of migrants, as the Defense Force reported landings in New Providence in November, December and February of this year. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
Still to come on Our News, tracking Tropical Storm Alberto, plus the new Miss World Bahamas crowned. That and more when Our News returns.